Hello viewers, Dr. Kenneth Uchua is my name.
Dr. Adams in Oluyede is my name, and I'm live on Coffee with Carpa.
I am delighted and happy to be live on Coffee program with Carpa.
Hello there, you're welcome to Coffee with Carpa. My name is Esther Akpakman, and with me today in the studio is
Dr. Adams in Oluyede is my name. Thank you for having me.
and my left.
Dr. Kenneth Uchua is my name, the Director, Advanced Space Technology Applications Laboratory and Outfit of the National Space Research and Development Agency under Federal Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Please, could you please give us further information about your line of work?
Okay, the National Space Research and Development Agency is established by the federal government, and they have the mandate to take care of anything that is space related, satellite related, and we have centers and laboratories spread all over the country. ASTA, which is Advanced Space Technology Applications Laboratory, is a laboratory under the National Space Research and Development Agency.
All right. Please, sir, could you tell us what it takes to become an aerospace engineer?
Thank you very much. Because there are a lot of issues affecting countries of the world, there is also need to devise solutions that will help in solving problems, overcoming difficulties and challenges on our environment, in our society, and the world we live in. So there is need to have various aspects of specialties in such a way that it will now be helpful to address environmental challenges and other associated challenges. Not only challenges, but also to make life better, living better, in such a way that the well-being of humanity will be addressed. Having this at the back of our mind, it becomes necessary for as scientists, engineers, and other experts to play their respective roles and part in addressing these issues. It is on that note that we have aerospace engineering. We also have other aspects of engineering. When we are referring to engineering, certainly there must be innovations, new ideas and ways of solving problems. It can be civil, it can be mechanical, it can be petrochemical, it can be other aspects of engineering. But our concern here is aerospace. Aerospace because there is need also to devise ways of using space-based technologies that are not necessary on the surface of the Earth, but deploy systems that are placed into the orbit, into space, that will assist us in getting information, capturing data, among so many other things, so that we can now be able to solve our problems. But before we do that, there are so many other components that are involved. There is conceptualization. You must come up with the idea. You must think of fabricating. You must think of manufacturing. You will think of the launch, taking the spacecraft you have developed on the terrestrial surface into space. So a lot of engineering now is involved. And also maintenance of components, of parts, of systems that are helping to ensure that all these aspects work effectively require some aspects of engineering. It is on that note that it is very, very important to encourage younger ones, to encourage many people to begin to see that aspects of career prospects in aerospace engineering. Within the aerospace engineering, there will be so many other windows of career prospects that will be involved. Thank you.
All right, sir. So I would like to know what inspired you to pursue this career.
That's a very good question. It all started since I've been in high school.
Okay.
I've been an adventurer. I always want to know more. I want to know how things work. You know, the thought of how is it that an aeroplane is able to fly against gravity? Because this is a force that pulls us back to Earth. they thought of how is it that we're able to launch satellites using a rocket, and then the rocket takes the satellite into space, and then when it gets to space, the satellite is just floating. Why is it not floating away from the orbit? How are we able to maintain the movement of a satellite around the orbit? And all of these thoughts made me delve into this. I want to know how things work. And eventually I got to realize that there are different orbits. There's the low Earth orbit, the other orbits also. And talking about aerospace, it's a combination of aero and then space. Aero is the airplanes you see, and then the space. Both of these components are in the atmosphere, because we have the atmosphere, which is talking about air, and then we have the lithosphere talking about land, biosphere, that is water. And then the engineering aspect, that is the application of scientific knowledge. That is what aerospace engineering is. So my curiosity to know things, to know how things work, is what got me into this profession.
Interesting. Please, sir, I would like to know, are there challenges? Because I understand every profession has its challenges. So I would like to know the challenges.
Certainly, as humans, we are to face challenges. Even before you eat, you must face a lot of challenges as a farmer to begin to think of how you will room that your feed to cultivate, to plant, to maintain. It will get to the point of harvesting before it gets to food on your table.
Right.
So for us to ensure that we enjoy some comfort as humans, triggered by space technology and engineering, we face a lot of challenges. You can see that it's a highly sophisticated sector. And this is a sector that so much money is also involved in order to put together the various subsystems. There must also be infrastructural facilities, requisite infrastructural facilities to support this initiative. And we must not forget the fact that without stable power supply, we may not be able to achieve the optimum that is required as far as aerospace engineering is concerned. Because sometimes you have to monitor a lot of things in the laboratory. You need light constantly in such a way that you will now be able to see the trends of certain things. It could take a day, 2 or 3, 4, 5 days, or a whole week. You are trying to monitor something so that you will understand the trends of certain events. There are also challenges that relates to the government focus, the will of the government in power. If their interest is not in science and technology, there is no amount of advocacy, there is no amount of passion by people that are desirous of venturing into that sector. There is no amount of that can make any meaning. So we also wish that there will be that awareness right at the local level. The councillors, they should also get to understand what aerospace engineering can do for them, what the state assembly, they should also get to know, even the National Assembly to know, because they are the ones to legislate, to make laws that will guide the operations of a nation. And some of them, interestingly, sometimes they ask questions. Have we finished solving problems on land? Why are we going into space when there are so many problems to solve? Problem of hunger, problem of insecurity, problem of erosion, problem of land degradation, among others. But interestingly, it is the effort of man into space that will even help to simplify the solutions on how we can address the challenges of insecurity, challenges of hunger, among so many other things. Typically, like in the Niger Delta region, you can see that the environment entails considerable difficulty if you are to access so many places because of the nature of the terrain, the waterlogged areas, devastated regions, and all what have you. When you see some creeks, you can't even physically be able to get there. But satellites are launched into space so that they can capture information about all species on our Earth's surface, irrespective of those that are difficult to access. And by doing that, we can now be able to sit in a laboratory and analyze that satellite imagery using requisite software packages that are tools that will help us to manipulate this satellite imagery in such a way that we can map it out. So that we can look at Akwa Ibom in layers of settlement or built up of agricultural feeds, of water resources or drainage, of infrastructural facilities, of so many layers, until you now bring all these layers together before you can eventually understand the spatial distribution, the spatial spread. You also understand the endowment of the state. And until we have requisite facilities, requisite working environment, the infrastructural facilities, that passion by government of the day, because if they are not interested, it will not be possible to move forward like that. But they must be interested. And that is why all professionals are encouraged also to delve into politics, so that if we also have engineers into politics as legislators, as governors, certainly they will also be able to help in the aspect of championing various aspects of engineering, of which aerospace engineering is one. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, so a young person out there is wondering, what subjects should I write? Should I take in my WAEC exams to be able to become an aerospace engineer someday?
Okay.
That's where it starts.
Yes.
So can we know these subjects?
Up to WAEC level.
Yes, WAEC, then university level.
Okay. If talking about WAEC level, of course, you have to be a science student first before you can be enrolled for any engineering course. I think worldwide, yes. And the scientific courses are subjects, because they are core subjects in secondary school: physics, chemistry, biology, mathematics. Very important, because all of this engineering feats, like the launching of satellites, has to do with mathematics, precision. If you are going to launch a satellite, of course it is the rocket that takes it into the orbit. It takes a whole lot of mathematics. So you don't go in there into space to eat on another satellite. So mathematics is very important, and English language also is important. And which other subject? Geography. Geography is important. And in the university, for aerospace, you have to, mechanical is more mechanical, computer engineering, and a little bit of petroleum engineering and chemical engineering, because they have to do with fossil fuels, the fuels that power the rockets. So it's an engineering field generally.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Sir, please, can you tell us the prospects of aerospace engineering?
There are career prospects that are inherent in that sector, in that field of aerospace engineering. I started by saying that there is need to conceptualize, to think of something. You know, some people, God has given them that talent, that gift of coming up with ideas that can help. Other people, they are good in turning their ideas into fabrication of products.
Yeah.
So that ability to conceptualize very well, come up with credible, strong ideas, the way you have seen certain things, so that they will build on such ideas to get the kind of product that we are aiming at. There is also need to fabricate, you know, to manufacture. There is need to launch spacecrafts. And so all these stages, it's not only one person that is to carry out all these assignments. Different professionals are involved, and different fields are involved. So there are career prospects, just like we have in any other company or any other organization. The person that is to create advocacy must not necessarily be an engineer. And so that person that read mass comm is also involved, because there must be space advocacy to let people know about this technology, these aspects of engineering, and how the humans stand to benefit from it. There must be that aspect of space economics, because money is involved. And so you need to plan how much of it and how are you going to source it. So you can now see that an economics will also come in. There is also need for space medicine, because when you deploy astronauts into space, the kind of food they eat is no longer the Eba, Akpu, and some others like those of us on the Earth surface, because everything must be programmed in such a way that the conditions in the outer space will favor the astronauts. And so you can now see that the kind of drugs They are humans. They can fall sick and not feel so well. So it is not the Panadol, it is not the regular substances that will be administered to them. So you can see in that aspect, that person that specializes in medicine or related health areas will come in. There is also space insurance, because as you are launching these rockets into space, so that they should take the sensors, the spacecraft there, to help us capture information on the Earth's surface. All this process must be insured. And that insurance company must first of all understand all that it takes of ensuring these components, because they are cost intensive. So if the insurance company is not aware, if there is any mishap or damage, the process of indemnifying, paying back, it will involve so much money. So that is also another career window. There is also a career window. I'm talking so much about those that are not really pure science and engineering before I get into the engineering ones. I talk of economics, I talk of advocacy, I talk of medicine. There is also, and also talk of insurance. There is also career prospects in space law, because we are dealing with countries of the world. You can't just sit only in Nigeria and venture into aerospace engineering, because there are protocols, there are procedures, there are methods accepted by the international community of how to go about it. And so other countries of the world are also involved, because most of these spacecraft will be revolving around the Earth. It will not just be geostationary only in Nigeria. It will also revolve around other continents of the world and other countries before it will come back to Nigeria like this. Passing through protocols, passing through procedures, just like somebody's airspace. The person must be aware why that aircraft is in that country's airspace, or else they will bring it down. So there is this need for space law. If our lawyers are not sufficiently endowed with this knowledge, they can't be able to defend Nigeria, because Nigeria too has joined the League of Nations that have launched a number of spacecrafts into the orbit. And so Nigeria decided, as at the time of launching Nigerian satellites, there was no Nigerian lawyer that specialized in space law. There was no Nigerian lawyer no Nigerian journalist that specialized in space reporting. Nigeria first of all recruited a reporter from Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, one Obiechina Oba, and was subjected to a 2-week crash program on space reporting. That was the only Nigerian as at that time that was reporting for Nigeria. Or else, it was other foreign correspondences and journalists and media houses that were covering for Nigeria. There was no Nigerian lawyer that specialized in space law. But Nigeria decided to recruit gifted lawyers that made good grades at Nigerian law schools and sent them to the United States to take courses in international space law, leading to masters, leading to PhDs. I want to let you know that all of them graduated very well, successfully, but the market is out there. And so all of them evaporated. None of them came back to Nigeria. Nigeria has to recruit another 30 and send overseas. That it is now that we have lawyers that specialize in space law that can stand for Nigeria. In my organization, the Advanced Space Technology Applications Laboratory, we have 4 lawyers that specialize in this field. So there are career prospects. In the technical aspect of it, there is need for system engineers, because we are dealing with systems, and there must be engineers that specialize in the management of all these systems. There is also need for software developers, because these spacecraft are working based on the commands you are sending to them. And the commands can pass through software packages in such a way that they can respond to the commands. And then you can also be able to download information or data on our terrestrial surface into the ground receiving station. So there is also need for all these areas. So assuming that, or taking it that Nigeria has also launched a number of spacecrafts in the orbit, One, there are different types of satellites, and each and every type is for a purpose. But Nigeria has launched 8 observation satellites. 8 observation satellites is to help take information or pictures or data about the Earth's surface, so that you download the data in your ground receiving station and analyze the data in such a way that you can now make informed decisions, good policies, good decisions that will improve the well-being of humanity. So you can see that in all these aspects, there is now need for experts that specialize in the use of that data, so that they can manipulate it, they can be able to interpret, analyze, and then present result. And upon that result, we can now be able to make decisions and take policies that will improve on the well-being of Nigeria. So looking at all this holistically, you can see that each and every profession is involved. Any field of study at all is involved as far as space engineering is concerned, because there must be that economics to plan for money, there must be that accountant to account for it, there must be that administrator day in, day out of doing certain things, moving files and information on certain things. There must be all these professionals put in place. That is why in the area of aerospace engineering, it's a composite field that accommodates all professionals, because at the end of the day, we are dealing with water, we are dealing with land, we are dealing with air, we are dealing with life, and the sun is there to provide energy to illuminate the earth's surface so that we can see brightness. The moon is there, so many terrestrial bodies are there. So at the end of the day, because we are dealing with the lithosphere, which is land, other people's areas of specialty will relate to land, agriculture, soils, and the likes. We are dealing with water. Other people's areas of specialty will be in that aspect of water resources, hydrology, oceanography, marine sciences, among others. Other people will be interested in looking at the sprout, how Uyo is developing, which direction is taking. Is it a holistic development, or development is progressing more towards airport road, or more to, because there must be factors. Other people are interested in agriculture, because after going to space, after aerospace, after civil, after chemical, after mechanical, after all aspects of engineering, we have to return to the dining table, so that we have to eat what is produced by others. And how are they going to produce this thing in a better way? That means aerospace engineering will bring in that component of precision agriculture. And precision agriculture helps the farmer to know the area coverage. He gets to know the amount of plants on his field. He gets to also estimate the harvest. And at the end of the day, you can plan ahead. You can make decisions, and it will help you in that order. So at the end, we want to encourage each and every professional to take interest in courses of this nature. You may be a lawyer, quite all right, but your area of specialty, after studying that basic aspects of law, will be space law. You may be a mass communicator, a journalist, a reporter. But after all, you move further to add in that aspect, so that it will be space reporting, space economics, space insurance, software developers, system engineers, and putting all these things together, it is to improve the level of our decision making. And not just taking decisions, but also taking actions that will lead to the well-being of humanity. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That is well informed. All right, sir.
Yes.
We have young people working and they want to study aerospace engineering overseas. What's your take?
Okay. I actually studied in Nigeria, University of Uyo precisely.
Okay.
My postgraduate studies was at University of Uyo. And from my home perspective, I would say we both need each other. Even though, yes, whatever it is I did here is localized, but right now, I'm telling you right now, I have a collaborative research I'm running with a US-based researcher. He actually works with NASA. And there are certain things he cannot do over there. he needs somebody on ground to get it done. If I was there, if I was abroad, he wouldn't be able to contact me to get these things done. So it's a two-way street.
Okay.
We all need each other.
All right.
Yes. And talking about satellite remote sensing, that is the art and science of capturing information of a body, of a place, without being in direct contact with that place. So he's able to carry out the satellite remote sensing. He's getting meteorological data about West Africa generally, but we are in Uyo. But so far, the information he is getting, you need something called ground truthing. That is to verify that satellite data. Whatever the satellite is telling you, you have to do a ground truthing. Now, the ground truthing has reported that even though there is a correlation between what is actually on ground and what the satellite is telling us, the values are not equal. That is where we now bring in what's called machine learning to calibrate that reading that the satellite is giving to us. So, when I said it's a two-way street, we all need each other. Whether you're studying this aerospace engineering in Nigeria or abroad, wherever it is that you are, you apply it to your local environment.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, in conclusion, sir, what is your advice to viewers out there?
My advice is to encourage especially parents to support their children so that they will get proper education. And those that can afford, it is obvious that the enabling environment outside the country certainly will be enhanced, because like Nigeria now, we don't have capability in the launch of satellites into space. But we have a center in Lagos that is designed for our future endeavors as far as launch of satellites is concerned. So developed nations of the world, they used to offer to assist developing countries so that they will also be able to make progress. In that aspect, Russia assisted Nigeria to launch Nigerian spacecraft, and then China also assisted Nigeria in the launch of the communication satellite. So a young man that his own interest is in the launch of spacecrafts like this, certainly he will also be required to get additional training outside the country. And you can see that because Nigerian satellite was launched outside the country, that doesn't mean we don't have capability and competence in Nigeria. Sometimes you discover that it is the same Nigerians that are studying outside the country and have graduated and decided not to come back that will be in all these fields of endeavor. Right. So it is a very laudable opportunity if the parents could have the means to send these younger ones outside the country, because most of them, they receive basic training in Nigeria. Most of them, their first degrees are in Nigeria, and they get there and also do well. That is to let you know that we are also on the right track. And most of them will also appeal that after completing so much of what they have studied, even if they are not coming back 100%, but they should create time to be coming home for specified programs, just like medical doctors sometimes used to create time to come so that they can address local challenges. On doing that, we will remain partners in progress. It is just like we have football. Some Nigerians are professionals outside the country. Others are playing in the local league within Nigeria. Collectively, we can, when we now want to go to the World Cup as a nation, Nigeria will now call the ones that are outside the country to complement the ones that are in the country to present a common team that will play for Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. You've heard it all from the professionals. So what's keeping you, I think, is a very nice and interesting career. Thank you for having us till some other time. Bye.